Hi, I'm Neil. I'm going to be talking about my XPC project, which is a way of rehousing old laptops into new usable computers, generally for use in schools. So I've already made quite a few of these, which have been used in a classroom for a year and a half or so, and they have been working very well. So I'm pretty pleased with how they have turned out. But one of the things I always wanted to do, these were based on one particular type of laptop. But since doing that, I've been given quite a few other types of laptop in some sort of quite big quantities. So I'd like to rehouse those as well. But the original design for the XPC was done in a 2D CAD package, which meant that a lot of redesigning for it to fit a different size screen. So I started to learn FreeCAD and then learned about its parametric modelling capabilities, which is exactly what I was looking for, because it means I can set up some parameters which will resize the screen and all the related bits at the same time. So this video is just going to show the sort of the process of going through that. So firstly, I'm using the FreeCAD link branch. So you're going to have to download that. I'll put a link in the instructions. So it's the stable branch you want as well. I did try it with the daily branch, but for reasons it didn't quite like it. So stick to the FreeCAD link stable branch. Once you've got that installed, there's a few other things I've done. So possibly not best practice, but in the preferences I've actually turned off in the output window the show reports on errors and warnings. It does seem to throw a few warnings, but they don't affect the model. So yeah, I'm just happy to have that turned off. And then one other thing you'll need is the laser cut interlocking workbench. So go up to Tools and then to the Add-on Manager, and then in here you'll see a whole list of different workbenches that you can add in. So you want to find laser cut LC interlocking. Click on that. Click on Install. See, mine's already installed on here. Then once you have installed that, you'll have to restart FreeCAD for those changes to take effect. So once you've done that, just load up again, load up the XPC model, and so hopefully you'll see this. So onto the parametric stuff you can change. So in the top of the tree view, there's this DD entry, which will bring up this properties window with all the parameters you can change. Your property window may well appear in a different place depending on how you've got FreeCAD set up. So quite often underneath the tree view on this side. Not that it really matters, but so here at the bottom of this you can see parameters for height and width, which are the obvious ones that we are looking at. So I am going to first of all just change the screen height, so 210, I'll put it into there, and then you'll see the parts of the model are all going to start to sort of shuffle around and move into the new position. It takes 10 seconds or so. It might well be quicker on your computer if you've got a faster computer than me. So that's done. I'm now going to change the width here. Obviously I've measured my laptop screen already and just rounded these up just to give your screen a little bit of breathing room. Right, so that's all just resizing now, so that's all good. There are various other parameters that you can change as well. So as soon as that finishes that, so an obvious one to do is the screen angle. Now I've got it set to minus 25, which is seems to be pretty good, works for me. But just to show that, I'm going to just make that it's got to be minus, so minus 30, and then you see it will just shift backwards there. So just give that a few seconds just to finish off its move. So you can see that's moved everything backwards nicely for us. So other things you want to change is this little sort of slot inside here is for the PSU, the power supply of your laptop. So again, over here you've got PSU, you've got height, length and width. The height you want to, it has to be a minimum of 32 because you've got this USB mount here. The width of the PSU is just the width, just rounded up slightly, and then you've got the length, which is the length of the power supply, plus a bit extra for the power cable, because I loop that around and then cable tie it to one of the standoffs inside here, and it comes out of this hole at the back. So it just acts as a sort of a strain relief, so you can't yank the cable out there. So once you've got that set, you're pretty good to go. There's a few other things you can change, like the bezel. So this sort of inner bezel here, which kind of goes around, and then let's see, so over here, say bezel top inner. So if I was to change it, I'll just do 50, so you can see the change. You'll see that top bezel there. That's just to hide the edge of the screen. You get like a metal band around the edge of the screen just to hide that. So just going to move that back to 5 as it was. Right, so I'm pretty happy now with the overall size of my new XPC. So there's a few other things we need to do now to generate the living hinge. So the living hinge is not parametric in the same way as the rest of the parts. You have to sort of generate it. But, so here you can see one that has been previously generated. So because I've now changed the the screen size, this is in a different position. So that's obviously not correct. So I just have to delete the old parts of the living hinge. So it will generate this curve to show you where the curve will go, or it will generate this sort of flat shape, but it has actually got all the slots for the living hinge in there. So you can see that part, but as you can see, it's the wrong position. So I'm just going to change over to the part workbench there, and then I'm just going to delete this living hinges entry. Delete both parts here, so the solid, which is the curved part, the flat part, delete that. And then there's two other parts I need to delete as well, which are the copies of the front and the back cover. So you can see those there. So I'm going to delete those. Now you have to make copies of these because of the laser cut interlocking workbench doesn't like working on the original parts, so you have to do a copy of it to do the living hinge. So I'm just going to delete those as well. But you can see you've got the original parametric parts are still there. So that's all fine. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to change over to the laser cut interlocking workbench. So I get a few new icons at the top there. So now I have to choose the two faces which will make up my living hinge. So the ones I'm interested in are this top face there and this top face here. But like I said, before I do that, I need to make the copies. So I've jumped ahead of myself a little bit there. So back to the part workbench. Yes, like I said, I'm interested in the front face. So that's under screen mount. So you need to open that up, and then I've got front here. So I need to just select that. And then I go up to the part menu, go to create a copy, and then create transforms copy, which will just stick the copy at the bottom of the tree view, so you can see there, so front 001. Now I need to copy the back cover, so that's just above there, so back cover's there. Again, so up to parts, and then go to create a copy, create transform copy, so again, bottom of the tree view, you can see the back cover 001 there. So just to make sure I'm selecting the right ones, now I'm going to hide the originals. So here under screen mount I've got my original front, I'm going to hide that one. And then at the bottom, near the bottom, I've got back cover, the original, I'm going to hide that one as well. So the two that we're looking at in our view are now the copies. So if I was just to say hide that front, there you go, that's that one there. Oh, click on, so there it goes. So I want to keep the front 001 and the back cover 001 in view now. So now is when I change over to the laser cut interlocking workbench. So as I said before, it's this edge, sorry, this face, the top face of the front cover and the top face of that back. So I'm going to select the front one first, and I'm going to control and click on that the back on there. So you can't really see them highlighted there, but now I'm going to oh well, you can see them both highlighted in the tree view, which means I have selected the right pieces. So up in the laser cut interlocking icons, I've got this one for living hinges, so I'll click on that, which gives up this shows me this new sort of parameters for that. So just put that down. There's a couple of things over here that I want to change. So this hinges per column, I'm going to make that free, and then number links, I'm going to turn that to 21. And I'm going to click OK. And with any luck, in a few seconds, that will generate our living hinge. So as you can see there, so we've got the flat view of this one with the actual slots for the living hinge in it there, and then you can also see it's generated this curved piece which shows where it's going to go, but without the slots. So the one we're interested in, of course, is this big flat one with the living hinge parts in it. So we now need to convert this into the 2D drawing, which will then be exported to our laser cut software. So back over in the tree view, what I'm interested in here is the page view, so I'm going to double click on the page. So here you can see the 2D layout of all of those parts. So these have now been resized as well, so these are all linked to the parametric 3D model. So whenever you resize the 3D model, these will all resize as well. So this one here, this front sort of cover, is the one that we deleted. So because that's not sort of truly parametric, so that's still here. So we need to delete this one. So I'm just going to select inside this sort of dotted border. So it's yellow, and when I click just inside, it should go green, which means that one is selected. So I can just delete that. So then I'm going to go back to my 3D view. So just on the tab at the bottom there, click on that. So back to my 3D view. But now I want to change the workbench into the tech drawer. So just near the bottom there. Now what's important here is I'm looking at my model from the front. So I'm actually just going to click on the front view in the navigation cube there, and then I'm just going to select the one of the front faces of that. Then up in the icons for tech drawer, you've got this one here which should say insert view. So that's done. So just take a second or two, go back over to my page tab, and it's put the new generated cover piece right slap bang in the middle of that there. So I'm just going to drag that over to the side. So again, just inside the dotted line, and I'm going to click and drag that over there. Now the position of all these pieces at this point is not that critical. It's just important that they don't overlap. So that wouldn't be good there, because when you import this into your laser cutting software, you don't want things to overlap, because when you have to select these, you want them just to be able to select without selecting things underneath it. So just make sure these are all spaced apart. So obviously when you resize these things, they might get a bit close and you have to sort of position them, but they've got a little bit close there, but they're not overlapping, so that's fine. So I'm happy with that now. So yeah, so that's all gone well. And then all these pieces will just slot together because everything's been resized, and if it works in the 3D view, so if everything here is as it should be, then everything in the 2D view should also work. So we're now just going to export that. So it's in the tech drawer workbench, there's an export DXF button. You can also do SVG, but DXF works for my laser cutting software. So I've already done this previously whilst trying this before. So this laptop is a Lenovo B590, so I'm just going to save that with that name there again. I'm just going to write over the old one. So that's generated our 2D layout for our laser cutter. So we're pretty much done with that. So what I can show though is if I just go to the file, let's go there. So this 590 DXF is what I've just generated. So I can just open that. This is just LibreCAD, not my laser cutting software, but it will show you, the layout of all of the pieces now in 2D. There is one thing. So in your laser cutting software now, you'd start rearranging all of these, possibly rotating these angle pieces to save on space. You want to optimise this to fit on the size of material that you've got and that you can fit inside your laser cutter. I've noticed that on the living hinge it generates a couple of extra lines which you want to get rid of. So just these single lines at the end on sort of the top and bottom of the living hinge. So you'll want to delete those. So just there, just where they sort of join in between, like that. So just get rid of those. And then once you've done that, I think that you are pretty good to go. So you get this all arranged nicely to check all these parts and get a laser cut. And then with any luck, all your bits will just all slot together nicely, and you'll make a nice new case for your laptop. So that's it. Thank you for listening.